Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features a new book that was published last month, August 2022, on the Uncanny X-Men Trading Cards, the complete series of cards, all of which were illustrated by Jim Lee and that were released in 1992 on the heels of the massive success of X-Men Volume 2 Number 1 by Jim Lee and Chris Claremont, the best-selling single comic of all time. So to capitalize on that success and the ongoing success of the second X-Men series headed by Jim Lee, Marvel commissioned Lee to create a series of cards featuring the X-Men and associated X-series characters and villains. And this book explores that. So I'm just going to remove the dust jacket here. So I'll show you the dust jacket. This image on the front is taken from the gatefold cover of X-Men number 1. And on the back there we have a couple of the team cards featured. And inside we have a very nice gatefold of one of the interior gatefolds of the special deluxe edition of X-Men number 1. So you'll find a video on that here on the channel. You're not going to see all of this vertically, but let's see, I'll show you like that. Nice interior to the dust jacket. Put this to one side. Let's bring this back into the foreground. So on the hardcover, we have a image of Wolverine taken from another gatefold cover, the gatefold cover to Uncanny X-Men 275. We flip over the book, it's just the X symbol pattern on the back. It's the spine there. Okay, so we open this up. What do we have? We've got a scan of one of the original packs for the cards, featuring X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor, and Excalibur, and randomly packed new gold foil holograms and autographed cards by Jim Lee. Would have been pretty cool to get one of those autographed cards, I think. And here we have a photo of one of the boxes that contained the packs of cards. I remember seeing something like this in my in the comic book shop that I shopped in back in 91, 92. But I never actually picked up any of these packs of cards because I was spending all of my pocket money on comics and back issues. So the book features all the cards by Jim Lee, and they were colored by Paul Mentz. There's a foreword by cartoonist Ed Piskor and an introduction by Bob Budiansky. Now, Bob Budiansky might be known better to some of you as the writer of the Marvel Transformers comics in the 1980s, but he was in 1992 an editor for special projects at Marvel, and he was asked by the editor-in-chief at the time, Tom DeFalco, to oversee this particular project, a set of X-Men cards, all of which were to be drawn by Jim Lee. So the contents there, the cards themselves take up the majority of the book from page 56 to 271. So we've got Ed Piskor's foreword there, a box of the cards, picture there, an ad for the cards, and then this is very cool. So we have the original artwork scanned for the Magneto card. So I'm not 100% sure if this is original size or if this is a little blown up. for this particular book. But great to see Jim Lee's original art. So he was penciling and inking himself on all of these cards. Okay, and then we have a long introduction by Bob Budiansky where he explains the background to Marvel getting into the trading card business and all the work that went into creating the X-Men series illustrated by Jim Lee. So let's flick along here. Cover 2 X-Force number 1. Cover 2 X-Men Volume 2 number 1. Okay. Oh, this is another cool feature of the book. Another scan of the original art for the Rogue card. So we see Lee's illustration of Rogue, pen and ink, and also the headshot for the back of the card. And we see that there's no background here. So when we come and look at this card later on in the book, we're going to see the amount of work that Paul Mentz did filling in the background. But very nice illustration of Rogue there by Jim Lee. And here we have a look at the process of colouring the cards. So we've got Lee's original black and white of Rachel Summers Phoenix. Then we have Paul Mentz colours, which he did separately on acetate and which was overlaid on Jim Lee's original ink artwork. So pretty cool to see the process there explained to us on that particular page. Team card there, the gold team. And there we have a picture of Jim Lee himself from around that time period, 1992. Young Jim Lee with all his art tools around him there. Let's see. So we're getting into the cards themselves now. So the first card there is Beast. And on the back then, you get all this information regarding his full name, his height 5'11", his weight, group affiliation, first appearance, and then a little spiel here regarding his character. A set of indications regarding energy, mental power, strength, fighting ability, and intelligence. So a little kind of graph there indicating his abilities on that. And then an extra fact here. So the Beast's current hairy appearance is the result of a scientific experiment he performed on himself. We've got the Wolverine card here. So Wolverine in a dramatic pose jumping out at the viewer with his claws popped. And then we have the back of the card. And so we see there something that's often forgotten by modern artists, that Wolverine is actually quite short. So he's 5'3" here, 195 pounds. And here we've got the Havoc card, information on Havoc, Iceman, Phoenix that we saw earlier, Nightcrawler. So the images here are a little bit larger than the original cards were. If I had to guess, I'd say anywhere between 1.5 and twice the size of the original cards. And they're a little larger on the back so that you get, you're able to read the tiny text here on the back. So let's see, I'm only going to stop at any interesting cards that there might be. So Professor X there, that's a pretty nice image of him in his new hover chair car. Psylocke, that's a nice card there. So Jim Lee, of course, for the responsible for the redesign of Psylocke from her British original appearance to this new Chinese ninja appearance. It's Lee's own design. Interesting to see there that Psylocke is 5'11", which you might not expect. Nice illustration of Domino there by Lee. fair bit of black in the background too. Storm, that's a pretty iconic image of Storm. And there's a little bit by Paul Mentz here. As far as I know, Jim didn't draw anything in the background. I painted in the clouds, the lightning made it all look dramatic, which it does. The edges of the clouds at the bottom below her knee, that was torn blotted paper, so that's this here. I airbrushed past the torn edges of the paper to make those soft, cloudy edges. So pretty cool insight into the colouring process by Paul Mentz. It's only a pity that Jim Lee doesn't seem to have been involved in this project, so we don't get to hear from him regarding his work on the cards. So that's a pity and a missed opportunity. But maybe because he's publisher at DC, for some reason he felt he couldn't participate in this Marvel Comics project. That's a pretty nice image of Cyclops there. Gambit, that's another well drawn version of a character here, Gambit. Nicely done. Cable, that's pretty cool. Archangel, difficult to draw those wings. Banshee, that's a nice one too. So I'm not going to stop at all the cards. That's a pretty cool Colossus. Let's see. That's actually a pretty cool Shatterstar there. Shatterstar was a very new character at the time, just appearing in X-Force. I like that one of Forge as well in action. Multiple Man, that's nice. Rogue, we saw that earlier. We saw the scan of the original ink artwork for that one, and now we get to see Paul Mentz background. What height is Rogue? 5'8". Okay. So a lot of this information regarding the heights and weights of the characters would have already been available in the Marvel Universe Handbook entries on these characters. But some of the newer characters, they're putting this together. So for example, Bishop. So let's just take a look at the Bishop card there. Bishop, very new at this time, first appearance on Uncanny X-Men 282. Bishop there, 6 foot, 210 pounds. And now we're getting into the villains. So just to point out that there is a color difference. The heroes are in the blue, and then the villains are in this kind of red-pink edge on the paper. So Magneto, of course, Prime X-Men, original X-Men villain. A very nice card there too. And Tom Brevoort, a quote from him, pretty good one. The design of Magneto goes back to the 60s. Jim makes him look as contemporary and relevant as any other character in this set, despite the fact that it's a look that's almost 30 years older than most everybody else's. And I really do think that Jim Lee's version of Magneto at the time, for me, it's the definitive version. I know he's drawing on Kirby, I know he's drawing on Neil Adams, I know he's drawing on John Byrne, but for me, Jim Lee's version of Magneto in his original costume is supreme and can't be beaten. Mr. Sinister, pretty cool. Deadpool, an early version of Deadpool there. Okay, so I'm just going to flip through these. Juggernaut, that's pretty cool. Apocalypse. Sabretooth, I like that. That's pretty dynamic and menacing. Let's see, Strife. Black Tom. Bit of work went into that card. Mystique, that's nice. And Paul Mentz there revealing he was using wrapping paper for the background. Pretty inventive, crafty. Toad, Shadow King. So Claremont using the Shadow King again. at the moment in the Gambit mini-series, of which there are videos on my channel. White Queen, Emma Frost. Mastermind, that's pretty cool. So you get to see the reflection of Mastermind there in his Jason Wingard identity from the seminal Dark Phoenix saga. It's a nice card. Deathbird. And here we've got some team shots now. X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue. Nice, that's a very nice team shot there. Very carefully inked by Lee. X-Factor, so that was the team that launched with X-Factor number 71 with the creative team of Peter David and Larry Stroman. X-Force, the Rob Liefeld team. Excalibur, which at the time was written and illustrated by Alan Davis. Hellfire Club. That's nice. The Upstarts. These were these new villains created by Lee and Will Portacio, but they never really became anything much in later continuity. Former X-Men, Sunspot, Dark Phoenix. That's a nice card. Very nice. A lot of work in that one. Long shot. Dazzler. Strange costume there for Dazzler. Starjammers. Imperial Guard. Lilandra. And then there was this kind of jigsaw composite image that you could make if you had the Danger Room cards. So here they are individually, featuring individual X-Men. And then there should be, that's a nice one of Colossus there. Okay, where is the image put together? These are the hologram cards. That's a nice one of Gambit there. Magneto, that would be nice too. The X-Men team, blue team. Cool. There we go. There's the composite image of the Danger Room individual cards. So, and that's the back of one of the original packs of trading cards. And there's a nice little touch in the back of the book. There's a number of little cards there, which I think there's 4 of them, something like that, that recreate the gatefold cover of X-Men number 1. I think it would have been nicer if they'd given us some of the original cards, even if they had to make them again. That would have been pretty cool, like a random selection of the original cards, which might make each book unique. So there you are, the new publication by Marvel celebrating the 30th anniversary of the X-Men Trading Cards, all of which were drawn by Jim Lee and illustrated by Paul Mentz. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.